Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Straight Talk. We have an information-packed session for you this evening. We're going to be discussing the dreaded canceled escrow. Now, you may have noticed that I opened the show by tearing that piece of paper in half that says we're canceling. And the reason why is after we dive into the specifics tonight, you're not going to be seeing those types of emails, getting those types of phone calls anymore. We've figured out an approach that's working, and we want to share it with you guys tonight. Specifically, we're going to talk about how did we get here. Next, we're going to move on to what do we believe is causing buyers to cancel. Why are people doing this all of a sudden? And then we're going to talk about what can you do to avoid falling out of escrow. My name's Nat Ferguson, owner of Ferguson Realty. Do me a favor, you guys. Hit that like button. Hit the love button. Let me know you can hear my audio tonight. And also, where are you joining in from? I'm going to be looking for your comments as they come in here. And it looks like we've got a bunch of people on. Charles Burgess, what's up, man? Good to see you. Kristen is joining in right now. Let me know in the comments section down here, just below the screen. Yeah, Nat, I can hear your audio. It sounds fine. Or no, I can't hear you. And that way I know I need to make an adjustment to my mic. So I'm going to let a couple comments trickle in here as the show is getting started. Again, hit that like button, hit that little heart, that little love button on there, and let me know where you're watching from. We've got a pretty diverse audience tonight. Normally, I just engage with most of the people that live in and around the community, people that we've done business with, past clients, and people who just are looking for real estate information. Tonight, I invited a lot of you, my colleagues from the real estate community, people that have supported us, people we've done business with, agents that we see on our local broker preview to this live session tonight to discuss what is going on with these canceled escrows. So leave a comment over here, hit the like button, hit the love button, and then I'm going to jump into this evening's topic, which I find very interesting. And, sometimes in this business, depending on where you live and where you work, we find out that we feel like we're kind of living in a bubble, and we don't have the chance to hear from agents in other cities and other states. And so I had a conversation with a couple different agents that I network with outside of California, and I'm finding that this canceled escrow thing is not just localized to our county, our state, our market. This is something that we're seeing is a trend across a lot of different areas. So we're going to dive into that in a second. All right, Miriam, thank you very much. Miriam says the audio sounds good. Appreciate that. And guys, Real Estate Straight Talk is a live session focused on providing actionable real estate information. That's it, right? You don't have to, talk to a scary salesperson. I feel like as a consumer, people should just get a straight answer to their question. And that's what this show is all about. Tonight, we're going to be discussing the dreaded canceled escrow. But before we get into the specifics, I'd like to know if you have noticed a shift in the market. Now, I want you to type your observation. Yes, no, I don't know. I'm curious to know your observation if you've noticed a shift in the market. So type that in the comments section below. I want to see what everybody is experiencing across different areas, different counties, and different markets. Are you seeing a change, a shift, if you will, in the market, maybe different than you saw last year? Yeah. So Kristen says, absolutely, things sitting a little longer. Things are sitting a lot longer. I would say that if you have to put it in perspective for people who don't understand, we're coming off of a market where you put it on the market, and then that weekend it was sold. And I think that was most everyone's experience and the consumers' expectation, buyers and sellers. Like, hey, if a nice house comes for sale, it's going to be gone this weekend. And that has changed. We're heading towards what most people have forgotten about, and that is the normal market. That's where things take, 30, 45, 60 days to sell. Michael says there is no longer any excitement. Yeah, I don't think that there's no excitement. I think that in my experience, Michael, is that that feeding frenzy, that crazy let's find the new listing that just came on the market. All that feeding frenzy, that level of activity has died down a little bit, and we'll talk about why I think that is. And I'm curious to hear from you guys as well. Joey Reeby says, yes, times are changing. They are changing, Joe, and we're going to talk about why. I dug into a lot of detailed information in the multiple listing service today. In fact, I called CRMLS because I'm looking for new ways to uncover what's happening in the marketplace out there. If you think about how whether you are a real estate professional or not, if you think about the way you traditionally search for information in the MLS, you basically got 5 different things to look for, right? Active, pending, under contract, sold, canceled, withdrawn, something like that. I want to know, the reason I called the MLS today was to ask, is there a function that will allow us to find properties that have fallen out of escrow? So they've been listed, under contract, and are now back on the market. So I was really looking into that information today. And we started, if you have been looking at properties recently, whether you're somebody who's in the market to purchase or you're an agent who's looking for, folks you're working with to buy, you're starting to see stuff that's back on the market. It'll say down in the private remarks and sometimes in the description, back on the market or subject to cancellation of current escrow, something like that. So, yeah, things are changing. But Michael, I think, back to your comment, there is no longer any excitement. I think part of generating that excitement is our job as the real estate professionals. That's also, a good listing agent knows how to do that too. And if it's just an ugly old house, maybe the only person who's going to get excited is an investor that you have that wants to buy something on the cheap. So, guys, with that, I wanted to jump into the first point tonight. So how did we get here? And I feel like it's a combination of higher interest rates, okay, slower appreciation, and the seller's disconnect with those dynamics. Okay, so let me repeat that. I think it's how did we get here? I think it's a combination of higher interest rates, which happened earlier this year, late last year, earlier this year. We are seeing a slowing percentage of appreciation, and then we have a seller's disconnect with the fact that those two things are happening. Right. And I just want to acknowledge Derek's comment. He says, yes, we're going back to normal time frames for the mid and higher priced homes, right? And that's, in my market, that's what we're dealing with. For the most part, things start at $1 million and go up from there. So when we're talking about those higher price ranges, it's no mystery that if affordability is disappearing, but sellers keep thinking they're going to jack the prices up higher and higher, like double digits over the most recent comparable sale, it's going to slow down the period from putting them home on the market to under contract. But people are being a lot more cautious when they're buying these homes because these rates are going up and up, but we don't see prices stopping. And so what I'm noticing, though, and when I was looking at the numbers for tonight's live broadcast in the MLS, we're still seeing homes listed at 12 to 17% higher than the most recent comparable. Okay, so 12 to 17%. And by the way, this is from the Pacific West Association of Realtors. The median sales price, guys, it's only up 3.4% over the last 12 months. Okay? 3.4% is here, but people are doing these 12 and 17, and you know, you've seen them. Sometimes they're jacking the prices even higher on these properties that are coming on the market. Like, it's still a great time to sell, but the ship has sailed where you can continue to push 12, 17, and more percentage over the most recent comparable sale. So that's observation number one on how did we get here. Number two is, what do we believe is causing buyers to cancel? So for my real estate professionals on the call tonight, I'm curious to hear in the comment section, have you had a canceled escrow recently? Yes or no? Have you whether it was a buyer that canceled, or the seller decided to cancel on the buyer for a ridiculous request for repairs or something, or an appraisal, whatever the case was, have you experienced a canceled escrow in the last 2 to 3 months? And I'm curious to see the comments here. If you guys would type in the comment section below. And I want to kind of get a pulse on what's happening with the broader market and you guys out there, because we've had a couple. We've had a couple cancel. Actually, we've had 3 cancel. So Kristen says no. Yeah, and I'll kind of keep an eye on it as we keep the show moving here. But I'm curious to know. And that was really the motivation for tonight's call. It's I like to do these shows around things that I'm seeing in the market, or questions I'm getting in the market, and things that I hear other agents or just the general public. I start hearing a topic be mentioned over and over and over again, and that's how I get the inspiration for these calls. So Miriam says she hasn't, but I had a buyer withdraw and after it was accepted. So that is, without the nasty canceled escrow, Miriam, that qualifies, right? People are being a lot more cautious than they used to be. I think that is the underlying cause. So what do we believe? Yeah. Michael says, no cancellation, but a haircut on the price to get the deal done. Yeah, there's the real market is about to come back, guys. What do we believe is causing buyers to cancel? And let me just make sure here that I'm keeping an eye on the time, because I don't want this call to run over. Okay. The underlying cause is the pressure on affordability. And Derek, you can speak to that. Which the pressure on affordability shows up, after getting a physical inspection that reveals a lot of work. So if the underlying issue here is affordability, right? And you get into you finally find a place you like, and you're like, and you get into escrow, and you get an inspection report back that has a lot of repairs, or something that creates that sinking feeling in your stomach. Michael, you referred to it earlier as a lack of excitement, right? I think most people here are going to agree that when somebody's really excited about a purchase, it's going to happen. Usually you can get past little hurdles when there's a sense of excitement. And as soon as you lose that sense of excitement, it's probably over with. And that's why I think one of those two things, either A, getting a physical inspection that reveals a lot of work, and you guys know what a lot of work is, and you know what a little bit of work is, or B, having an appraisal come in low. Either of those can cause a sudden change of heart and instantly lead a buyer to cancel. Would you agree with that statement? Hit the like button if you agree with that statement. Okay? Getting an inspection back that reveals that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, or having an appraisal come in low. Either of those can cause a change of heart. If you agree with that, I want you to hit the like button. If you don't agree with it, don't do anything. But those are the things that back last year, people could look past that because rates were lower. They weren't bumped up against their max budget. And when the prices are still going up and the rates are following them, people are up against their threshold. That I like to call that the excitement threshold. If somebody is up against the excitement threshold and you get whether it's a bad home inspection or it's just a home inspection that reveals too much work or the appraisal comes in low, guess what? You can feel the air leave the room in escrow. You can almost feel it. I think you'd agree. If you've been through it, you know. Which brings me to really the third part, which is what can you do to avoid falling out of escrow? Now, believe it or not, I believe it because we're doing it. I believe there is a way to avoid that problem, right? It's a matter of strategy. And it's not going to be 100% foolproof, but I believe that as the market changes, we have to make adjustments and changes to our strategy. So I want to share with you what I think that is. I'm just going to quickly look at the comments here. Yes, we had a buyer back out post-home inspection. Yep. Derek says, I have had a borrower back out cancel. The seller felt they could take another offer and that they would not have to do the basic repairs. So, there's always probably more to the story, and I appreciate you dropping that comment in there, Derek. But right, so ego gets drug in there too. Like, well, it's a seller's market. I'm not have to do any of that stuff. I'll sell it to somebody else, which is always problematic when we get into that mindset because that's not a business mindset. That's I'm taking it personal mindset. So, and you guys know how to deal with that. So number 3, what can we do to avoid falling out of escrow? Here's my thoughts on it, and hear me out. First, we're recommending to all of our sellers to get a physical inspection and fix the items before putting their home on the market. If you guys have been around for any period of time, that used to be something that we did, many markets ago. Let's put it that way. That was before I had gray hair. So we're recommending to our seller clients to go ahead and pay for the home inspection, right? That way you have the opportunity to pick a fantastic home inspector, somebody you've worked with, somebody you know is trusted to do a good job and that does good inspection work. And then before you put it on the market, you have an idea of what you're going to be up against. Is it little minor stuff like carbon monoxide detectors or I don't know, one of those seismic shutoff valves on the gas meter? Or are we talking, there's some real issues. There might be something wrong with a plumbing leak, or is something wrong with the piers or the posts and the foundation. If you know that ahead of time, then you could take corrective measures before you put it on the market, right? And even if the buyer comes along and says, thanks for the copy of the inspection, but I'm going to do my own, you already know that most likely they're not going to find anything that takes away that excitement threshold that we talked about. Also, this is another one, you have to use this a little bit more carefully, but once you have the sellers do their own inspection, physical inspection, and take corrective action on anything that needs to be fixed, I mean, you can tell them that it's being sold as is, and here's the work you've already done, and here's the inspection you already had, because that takes away surprises. And we did that recently on a listing we had that had fallen out of escrow twice, and we got our own inspection. We went in and took corrective actions, and the next buyer came along, and we said, "Whoa, you like it? We're glad you want to buy this place, but why don't you look at the inspection report first and make a decision, because what you're buying is as is. We're not going to be doing anything else. This is what we've done. So make a decision before we get into escrow, because that's when those emotions get highest, right? And people, they tend to freak out. And the other side of that, and then I'm going to wrap this call because I usually try to wrap it at 20 minutes, is being more diligent and deliberate about the appraisal process to ensure a professional report is completed. Being more deliberate and diligent about the appraisal process so you get a professional report. And I could go, that's a whole separate real estate straight talk. And I've done one before talking about how to approach the appraisal process. So if you're selling your home or if you're the listing agent, how do you take control of what happens when your phone rings and there's an appraiser on the other end of the phone? Do you just say, yeah, come on over, there's a lockbox. Oh yeah, come on over, I'll let you in. No, you don't do that. That's the wrong way to, in my opinion, and we've done a lot of appraisals that have come in fine since we implemented a new strategy, being more diligent and deliberate about the process by which we meet with the appraisers. And that's where I'm going to leave it for tonight. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's Real Estate Straight Talk. I'd love to have the chance to meet with you after the show to discuss this topic in more detail to see if I can help you. Whether you're somebody who's considering the sale of their home or you're just another agent that works in the business that has met me, we've met you, we've come in contact and, through one of the broker previews, something like that. I'd love to get together and join you for coffee. Simply message me right here via the page, use the message button, or email me, hello@fergrealty.com. hello@fergrealty, F-E-R-G, realty.com. That's it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Thank you so much. Thanks all you guys for joining, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.